рад возможности уже лично поздравить вас с переизбранием на пост главы китайского государства.
尊敬的普京总统，我也称你为我亲爱的朋友。
The Crimea annexation certainly changed the equation for the relationship. Russia was willing to give China a series of things that it had not before, whether it was advanced weapons sales, the scope for investments in Russia, or some of the big energy deals that it hadn't been willing to do in the past. But the war has, of course, changed the balance of these dynamics. China's had to be more careful in certain areas. Even after 2014, China was always careful when it came to sanctions enforcement, given that they don't want their own companies to fall foul of secondary sanctions, particularly in the technology sector. We've already seen from China in the last period of time is willingness to provide all sorts of dual-use supplies. We've seen that with semiconductors, spare parts for fighter jets, helmets, vests, some satellite imagery, commercial drones. I mean, there's a number of areas in which China has still been willing to make certain transfers to Russia. I think the pressure has started to grow on the question of particularly artillery and ammunition. I think the pressure starts to come in with these resupply questions a year into the war, where, yes, China doesn't want to antagonize certain other countries, but it doesn't want to put Russia in a difficult position either. It certainly doesn't want to see Putin lose. It doesn't want to see Russia come out in an impaired position. And it doesn't necessarily want to be blamed for the fact that, where Russia has been willing to provide, advanced weaponry to China, in Russia's hour of need, is not even prepared to supply it with artillery. They know that this is a threshold crossing event, particularly the warnings that you've seen from the Europeans, but also from the United States. This would lead to a slew of sanctions. It would antagonize dynamics further. There would be a real cost to being seen in Europe as an enabler of security threats to Europe in such a direct way. And so evidently at the moment, they're weighing what the trade-offs around these questions look like.